Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we are going to be discussing on how Wimbledon can get promoted next season. I think it's so important that we need to at least get in the top 7 next season. The league looks a lot easier from the teams coming down. The retained list looks good. We're going to go through players which I think Wimbledon should sign in the summer transfer window, and pretty much just go through all of those aspects. Who can improve the squad? If there's any players which should move on from the club, if we should sell them, or if we should sign new contracts. We're going to go through all of that in today's video. If you're new to the channel, please remember to subscribe to the channel. It's massively appreciated. There's going to be a lot of content coming out this season, a lot more than last season. And yeah, remember to hit the like button as well. But furthermore, let's get into this video. I think the first main aspect for Wimbledon to get promoted next season is just keeping the core of the squads, because you can tell there's been a massive difference from the season that we've just had to the season before. Johnny Jackson came in, didn't really have the best squads, but he made it up with the help of Craig Cope in that summer transfer window. Did really well, brought a bunch of players in which love the club, who are going to fight for the whole 90 minutes, and we've done well. The squad depth has been really good, and I think just keeping the core of the squad is really the most important thing. Not really selling on too many players. I mean, if the money's there, if clubs are willing to pay the money for the players, then we're obviously going to take it, because one, stadium debts, two, that could go to other players in the transfer window. But we've got a lot to talk about. First of all, I'm going to try link it to keeping the core of the squad. We're going to talk about the AFC Wimbledon retained list that just came out about a couple of days ago. Actually, it's a really interesting one, to be honest. And we're just going to go through it. So the players under contract: James Ball, Omar Bugle, Josh Davison, Ryan Johnson, Josh Kelly, Joe Lewis, Paris Locke, Ryan McLean, Josh Newville, Will Nightingale, Isaac Ogundare, Jake Reeves, Aaron Sassu, James Tilley, and Morgan Williams. It's really good to see that Wimbledon have so many players under contract. I think it links to what I said about keeping the core of the squad. We have so many players under contract, so many players that are willing to play for the club. Even if they're on the bench, they're still trying hard in training to try and get in that starting 11. But there is a couple players which I think should maybe get a loan to get some more experience in first team adult football, maybe in non-league. And I think there is a couple players which I think should maybe get sold on. I think the first one that really comes to mind for me, which is under contract, is Josh Davison. Even though I wouldn't say every time he's had the opportunity this season, or last season, sorry, he's done well. Scored a couple goals, scored 2 against Colchester, which I thought he did really well in that game. Got quite unlucky to not even score a hat-trick in that game. But he's not that consistent. Like, he came on against Warsaw in the last game of the season, didn't really play that well, got tackled easily. He tries his hard. I don't blame him. He gives it 110% every single time he plays for Wimbledon. He tries, but he's never really got into the squad, especially when you have Omar Bugle, Josh Kelly, you had Ali for the first half of last season. So he's not really going to get into the squad. I can maybe even see him coming to a club which is in the low bit of the table in League Two, maybe even non-league. I think he'd do quite well in non-league, to be honest. But I think Josh Davison should maybe be one of the players which should leave the club, even though he was I'm not sure if he's still Wimbledon's highest ever paid player for a transfer, but that was interesting and a maybe strange decision. And I think we maybe overspent for Josh Davison. I think Paris Locke should maybe go on loan. Same with Ryan McLean, but Ryan McLean's obviously got his injury, so he could be out for a whole year. Will Nightingale, I think he's been on loan with Ross County for the whole season. I think he's never really I don't think we're going to see him in a Wimbledon shirt at all, especially in the season coming. So I think maybe Will should hopefully maybe find another club, even go on loan somewhere else. But I don't ever really see him coming back into the starting 11 for Wimbledon anytime soon. Aaron Sassu, I think he could maybe play a really big part next season. The same with Morgan Williams. Morgan Williams has been a little bit unlucky with injuries this season, did well at Woking. I think if we want to push for promotion, we've really got to look at the academy options, the young players that are coming through. Obviously, Wimbledon don't spend too much money in the summer. We never do, because we've got other things to pay off. We've got the stadium debt to pay off for Plough Lane. I think Aaron Sasu, Morgan Williams could do really, really well next season. Morgan Williams impressed me so much at Chelsea away at the start of last season. He was playing against Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo in the middle, who are worth about £100 million, and Morgan Williams isn't even worth probably half, not even worth 500,000. So Morgan Williams, he's just full of energy, really. Even at Newport away when he started that game, played extremely well, and I maybe could see him starting for Wimbledon next season. It's kind of like how Jack Curry did. Didn't really have a lot of Wimbledon opportunities, signed a professional contract and started, and now he's a fan favourite. And I think Morgan Williams could go all the way, to be honest. James Tilley, another one under contract. I don't want him to go, but I really want him to pick up form for next season. We know his ability, James Tilley. We know how good he is. We know how good his left foot is, especially. If we have that start of season James Tilley form, then I could easily see us pushing up the places more. Because I think if every player's on it, if every player's good on form, then we can easily push, especially top 7, even playoffs. I think we can easily push it if players are just on their A game all the time. Options activated, an interesting one. Jack Curry, the only one with options activated. Obviously, I believe he might have run out of contracts, but he's got a extra 1 year option on his contract. I mean, there's definitely going to be interest for Jack Curry in the summer. I remember Bristol City wanted him for just over £1 million, not last January, the one before. So it's going to be interesting to see if he does or doesn't stay. I really hope he does, because he's a fan favourite, and I could see him flourishing more in this team as he did this season, next season. So let's just all hope Jack Curry wins it. I mean, he got the Player of the Year award for Wimbledon this season. He's been brilliant for the past 2 seasons, ever since he started against Gillingham and scored 2 seasons back on the first day of the season. So yeah, what a player Jack Curry is. I mean, in my opinion, he's the best left back in the league. He has so much energy about him. He has an amazing personality. He's a character. He can even be a leader, and he's so young. I believe he's only just finished in university. Literally just finished it. So he's young, but I really, really hope he stays, because we know what Jack Curry brings. We know the energy levels he has. I want him to maybe, if he does stay, get a couple more assists and maybe even a couple more goals than he did last season. But he's done extremely well. A character for Wimbledon, Mr. Wimbledon, I like to call him. So yeah, let's hope Jack Curry signs. And then Johnny Jackson and the team gave 4 players an offer of a new contract. We'll start with Hus Billa. Is an interesting one. Hasn't been in the squad ever since he had a horrendous game at Milton Keynes away, franchise away, where we lost 3-1. I don't really know if I really want to sign Billa. It's an interesting one, because we've obviously been playing Kofi Barmer right back, and personally, I think I even think Ogundere's better than Billa. I think Ogundere's a better defensive right back. I think Billa would even be better on the wing, but I don't think, even if Hus Billa does sign a contract, it'll be good for a backup replacement at right back. I don't see him starting. But then we move on to Lee Brown. He's been absolutely brilliant, Lee Brown. Ever since we had injuries to Joe Lewis, Ryan Johnson, he's came in at left centre-back. He got the assist for Ronan Curtis's goal against the franchise at home, which is a great moment. I think he 100% deserves a contract. Even if he doesn't start next season, we know how good he is. He's a character. He gets in people's faces. He annoys attackers, which is really good to see. And I think Lee Brown can play a massive part in next season if he does sign a new contract. I really hope he does, even if it's 1 year and then maybe go non-league or retire, whatever is best for Lee Brown. Armani Little also got offered a new contract. I think he's pivotal to sign the new contract. He's so important to the squad, and I think if we still have Jake Reeves, Armani Little, even though sometimes I think those two got outrun in midfield, I think those two have a really good partnership together. We know what they can bring, the passing ability, shooting ability. We know what they can bring, and I really hope Armani Little follows the steps of Omar Bugle and signs a 2-year contract. As I said, I think, just linking it back to the start of the video where I said keeping the core of the squad, I think, is the most important thing for Wimbledon this season. All of the players showed character, they showed energy, they showed that they love the club, that they're passionate, And I think if we keep them for next season, keep everyone, hopefully don't sell as many players as could happen, especially with Jack Curry and other players doing quite well. Let's hope Armani Little can sign and not go elsewhere. I even think Armani Little could maybe play in League One in the division above. But I think if everyone stays at the club, gets promoted with us to League One, and then we can go from there. The last player that offered a new contract was Ethan Sutcliffe. To be fair, every time Ethan Sutcliffe has got his opportunity, I think he's done quite well, especially in pre-season Bristol Street Motors Trophy games. I think he's done well. Obviously, a youngster coming through from the academy, it's good to sign those players up to keep them in men's football and not go down into non-league. I don't think he'll start next season, maybe even get on the bench, get a couple opportunities, hopefully in cup games. But yeah, Ethan Sutcliffe is the last player to get offered a new contract. Let's see what happens there. I hope everyone signs, to be honest. I think keeping the core of the squad is the most important thing. And then another one, discussions ongoing. The only one on those is Ronan Curtis. Obviously signed just a short-term deal until the end of this season. I really, really want Ronan Curtis to sign. I don't know if he'll do well in the leagues above. I don't think his fitness levels isn't up to standard. I think if he has a really good summer, exercises loads, gets fit and ready for pre-season, I think we'll see a different type of Ronan Curtis, running more, energy levels more. But that last game against Walsall, especially the second half performance, I believe he switched wings to the right-hand side. He was really, really, really good. Obviously had so many clutch moments. Wimbledon, Mansfield at home, last minute winner. MK at home, last minute winner. Barrow at home scored a really good goal. We know what Ronan Curtis can bring, and hopefully he can he can play a part in this squad for next season if he does sign up. I really, really hope he does, because he's passionate for the club. He loves it. I think loads of people have talked to him, especially in the end of season awards after our 5-1 win against Walsall. And he said that he wants to stay. And that's the same with all of the loans that are ending that we will be moving on to in a minute. I think the loans that have ended, if we can keep some of those players, that will be so important. Sign them up like we did for Joe Lewis. I think that will be a really, really good thing. But let's move on now to talking about the loans, because I think if we sign some of those players up of the loans that we've had this season, we can definitely see Wimbledon getting promoted next season. Now, there was a couple players which we had on loan for the 2023-24 season. Kofi Barmer, Alex Bass, John Hermione-Gordon and John Joe O'Toole. We're going to go through all of them now and see if I want them to be a part of our Wimbledon team for the 2024-25 season. Starting with Kofi Barmer, only had him for half a season from January until now. I think he's been really good, to be honest. Started in the centre-back role, moved out to right-back when Joe Lewis and Ryan Johnson came out. He's got the long throw-in, which gives us a massive aerial threat. And to be fair, at the start of it, we didn't score from it, but then John Joe O'Toole scored from one. That was an own goal at Notts County, but still. Omar Bugle scored one against Salford, one against Walsall. It really creates chances, and it really gets the other defenders thinking about it. And yeah, it's just another one of those options. I think Kofi Barmer will be really good to sign up. Moving on to Alex Bass. Alex Bass was incredible. I believe he had the second most amounts of clean sheets. That was just one behind Ben Hinchcliffe, the Stockport County goalkeeper. I think if we really, really want to sign Alex Bass, I think that's one of the most important loans that we need to get signed up, because he wasn't highly rated when he joined us. Sunderland fans didn't rate him, didn't really have the most successful loans at Portsmouth, Notts County, Bradford, sorry. But ever since he come to us, I think he's been brilliant. Kept so many clean sheets, kept us in so many games as well. I think he's one of the most underrated players. People don't realise how many good saves he makes per game. And I think that is so important, having a really good, confident goalkeeper. And that's what I'm saying about keeping the core of the squad. I think the defence has been really good, especially with Alex Bass in goal. And you have Ryan Johnson, Joe Lewis, Kofi Barmer, Jack Curry in front. That defence has been so, so good this season. If we can just keep that core of the defence and get Kofi Barmer, Alex Bass signed up, if we have the money to do it, that'll be really good. John Hermione-Gordon, John Joe O'Toole, I don't think they'll sign up. Gordon's been okay. He has a flair about him. He's pacey, he creates chances. I'd like to see him maybe score a couple more goals. I believe he only scored against Crewe Alexandria away from home. John Joe O'Toole, been brilliant on loan from Mansfield. He's done really well since he's come in. I've been impressed. I don't know if I see him signing, maybe even signing a 1-year contract with us and then moving on elsewhere. I think he'd flourish in non-league as well. I think he'd do really, really, really well. But I don't see John Comilly-Gordon and John Joe O'Toole signing up for Wimbledon. There's been a lot of players released as well, which is really interesting. And it's the majority of maybe youngsters and players which are just getting a wage, and they're on high wages, which I think is really good, that we're releasing them just so we can get some more money, and we're not spending a lot of money on those players which aren't actually playing every single week. Quain Bartley, Marcel Campbell, Josh Hallard, we'll start with those three. Again, limited opportunities. I don't really see them in the squad for next season, to be honest. So I don't blame Johnny Jackson and the team for releasing them. Paul Calumbai is a strange one. I believe he had quite a bad injury, but I'm not sure if he's been fit. I mean, sometimes you see on his Instagram stories that he's just up in hospitality watching the game. So I don't know if he's just not involved in the squad, or if something went wrong in the training ground, or if someone fell out with someone. I'm not really sure. Ben Mason, again, I believe he was at Basingstoke. I might be wrong, but he did well for Basingstoke. But again, I don't see him getting in the squad for next season. Alex Pearce, Harry Pell. It's a shame to see them two leave, but I mean, both of them are on quite high wages. So if we can spend the money on something else, especially signing some good players, filling in some gaps of positions which we need players to fill those gaps. So yeah, I mean, I don't blame Johnny Jackson and the team for releasing Alex Pearce and Harry Pell. Again, they take up really high wages. The same with Zach Robinson. Limited opportunities at Wimbledon. I don't think he likes playing at Wimbledon, to be honest. He's been at Dundee up in Scotland, and he's done decently well. Maybe not this season, but he's been on loan about 2 or 3 times. And in those loans, he's done well, except from this season. Hasn't scored many goals. I don't see him being in the plan for next season. And again, Nick Zanev is a weird one. Nick Zanev, I mean, he's done well every time he's got an opportunity this season. Maybe Tranmere away shouldn't have conceded as many goals as he did at Tranmere. He's a really good backup option, but I mean, sometimes you've got to realise and you've got to release players who've been at the club for a while and not getting as many opportunities. Maybe Johnny Jackson is thinking quite smart that he's not going to be in the team next season. At the moment, we don't have a goalkeeper except for Max Folks, so it's going to be interesting to see what Johnny Jackson and the team want to do in the summer with Craig Cope, if they want to re-sign Alex Bass, which I think is the main option to do if we go for another keeper. But yeah, an overall really positive retain list, nothing which is so serious, but we've released the heavy budgets. We've looked at Jack Curry, Ronan Curtis for them to sign up. Armani Little will get signed up. I think if everything goes well in the retain list, we keep all the core of the squad, then I can 100% see us getting up to League One next season, getting in that top 7, even in the automatics. I mean, I think Wimbledon can do it if we keep the core of the squad and we sign really good players. Talking about players Wimbledon need to sign, the next topics we're going to go on about is about 10 or so players which I have wrote down and analysed, and now we're going to go through a couple players who I think Wimbledon really, really should be keen and looking at to sign in next season. Well, here we go. I've wrote about 8 or 9 players down which I think Wimbledon should really be looking at to sign next season. And we're going to start with a big one. We were rumoured with him in January, an Aldershot Town striker, Laurent Tolage. As I said, we was in talks with him in January on the last day of the January transfer window. And yeah, Aldershot put a post about how Laurent's staying, so we were obviously in contact with him and we wanted to get him signed a new contract for Aldershot, so we're going to have to pay a little bit of money for him, but I wouldn't mind that. I'm quite local to Aldershot, so I have gone down and watched him a couple times, and every time I've watched him, he's been really, really impressive. He's pacey, he has flair on him, has a really good shot on him, and he's also strong, which I think suits us really, really well. We need that one player up front which can be strong, which can head a ball, which can get in behind and score loads of goals, who has a really good shot on him, can score from outside the box. He scored so many goals for Aldershot this season, and I do not see him staying at Aldershot. I think he's got to have rumours in League Two and League One, but I definitely do not see him staying at Aldershot. And bear in mind that we were linked with him in January, so something's got to be said in the summer. I think Laurent Tolard has got to be definitely one of the main targets for a striker up front. For a striker, I think we've really lacked a striker ever since Ali's gone. Obviously, we signed Josh Kelly, hasn't been in the best of form, scored 2 at Tranmere, so that was a really good one for him. But if we sign these strikers that I've got on my list, I maybe don't even see Josh Kelly starting. I think Josh Kelly could even do well on the wing, but that's going to be an interesting one. The next striker that I've got is I really, really wanted to sign. Hasn't had the best career in the last couple of years, ever since he left us after we beat Plymouth 2-0 in the playoff final in 2016. I think every Wimbledon fan knows who I'm talking about. Lyle Taylor, a free agent now. Obviously hasn't had the best couple of years in the recent years, but he was at Wimbledon a couple of years back, and he's been brilliant, fan favourite. Had a really negative spell at Cambridge, only scored 1 or 2 goals. I don't think the fans really rated him. Kind of the same with Charlton, even though he did well at the end, the fans didn't really rate him. But he's kind of down south now, and I think obviously he's a free agent, so we don't have to spend loads of money for Lyle Taylor. So I think Lyle Taylor, I think he'd do really well. Obviously, he's coming towards the last couple of years of his career before he decides to retire. I believe he's around 34, 35 years of age now, but I think he could flourish again in League Two and get us promoted. If we get Laurent Tolard and Lyle Taylor, wow. And I even think it's a sensible transfer because he didn't do that well in League One with Cambridge. So I think if he drops down another league, goes to us, I don't see him joining any other club in League Two, to be honest. So I think Lyle Taylor could do really well at us. And then the last striker I've put down is the Sutton United striker, Harry Smith, 6'5", a striker with a touch of quality about him, to be honest. He's strong, physical, he gets in players' minds all the time. He's had his issues this season, to be fair, but he's done really well. He's agile, strong, physical, as I've said. So I think, and he's local as well, so I could easily see him signing for us. I think we need that big striker up top. And it's a player like even Matt Smith, the Salford striker, which I saw Womble's Had a Dream put a post out about him, but I don't see him signing just because he's from up north, family up north, so I don't really see that happening. But Harry Smith is definitely more suitable for us in the local area, so he won't have to move. And Sutton United have gone down to the National League, and Harry Smith is definitely too good for non-league. But he scored 11 goals for Sutton this year for a striker, which is 6'5", headed goals, which is really good. 5 assists as well. So he can definitely get the ball down and play, get a good pass away. But yeah, we need about 2 or 3, 4 strikers, probably even 3 or 4 strikers to compete at League Two to get promoted. And I think Josh Kelly, Omar Bugle behind Josh Kelly, Harry Smith, Lyle Taylor, Laurent Tolard, who knows? There's so many good options around the local area which Wimbledon can sign, especially up top, because we've missed a really good striker up top ever since Ali Al Hamadi left to Ipswich. And talking about Ali Al Hamadi, Ipswich are on the brink to get promoted on Saturday if they get a draw against Huddersfield or beat them, or if Ipswich lose and Leeds lose, then Ipswich get automatically promoted to the Premier League, and that gives us another £1 million for Ali Al Hamadi. So who knows where that money will go if Ipswich do get promoted on Saturday. That will be so important to our transfer budget. He could sign us all 3: Laurent Tolard, Lyle Taylor, and Harry Smith. Yeah, let's see where it goes. Moving on to the defence, I've gone with a goalkeeper, Matt Cox, the Brentford loanee. Brentford permanent player. He was on loan at Bristol Rovers this season. Obviously, an ex-Wimbledon player. He got sold to Stoke City, I believe it was. Now he's at Brentford. And yeah, did quite well at Bristol Rovers, to be honest. I've only put him down if Alex Bass does not re-sign for Wimbledon. But yeah, he had a kind of on and off season for Bristol Rovers, to be honest, in League One. Did kind of well, kept a couple clean sheets, but he loves the club, to be honest. Obviously, came through the academy. So if we get him on the loan, and we have quite a good connection with Brentford as well. We have had Nathan Young-Coombs, Marcus Force, Paris Magoma in the past, so I could easily see this being a realistic signing. But let's see it. He's a good goalkeeper, young, agile, strong goalkeeper, which has he's really good at diving. He's an unreal shot stopper, to be honest. I think Matt Cox could be a really good goalkeeper to sign on loan. The next player that I've got is another Sutton United player, 25 years of age, Ben Goodlive. To be honest, Sutton United have a really, really good squad. I was quite shocked that they got promoted, to be honest, because they have a really good squad. They've done well. They've got Charlie Lakin on loan as well, and he did really well. I'm quite surprised because they had a decent run of form towards the end of the season. But a lot of Sutton United players aren't going to leave. They are going to leave because they're in non-league and they know that they can play maybe even League 2, League 1. Ben Goodlive, solid League 2 centre-half, to be honest. He's strong, physical, doesn't let a lot of players past him. But yeah, he's highly rated in League 2, highly rated in the Sutton United team. Sutton United fans will definitely not want him to leave. But to be honest, it will be another really good centre-back option. We've got some good centre-backs. Ryan Johnson, Joe Lewis. If we can sign Ben Goodlive, that's another really good and strong option for the Wimbledon defence. He's been really good this season. If we don't sign John Joy Toole, Kofi Barmer back, then I can definitely see this being realistic again in the local area. So I think it's another sensible transfer option, and it would compete and push our centre backs to try and get in the squad. So he would be a really good signing. Moving on to another player which has been with us this season, Connor Evans, a Stockport County player. He was on loan with us from the start of the season up until January. Then he got recalled from Stockport. Did really, really well. Definitely pushed them to promotion. Was a massive key part of their squad to get promoted in the last couple months of the season. Obviously, I think losing Ali Al-Hamadi and Connor Evans in January was a massive blow. I think a lot of fans didn't realise how important Connor Evans was to us to the squad as well. So I think he's versatile, hard-working player, doesn't give up, and some of the goals that he scored for us has been really, really impressive. Is another attacking option. I think we lacked a player behind the strikers. We lacked an Ethan Chislett, to be honest. It's going to be interesting to see where he goes as well, because Port Vale have been relegated to League 2 for next season. But yeah, we just missed that versatile player, the player which has a little bit of flair in the middle, who can have a shot on him, has a really good pass behind him to maybe get him behind Josh Kelly, even Laurent Tolage, Lyle Taylor, who signs, who knows. But I think Connor Evans, maybe getting him on loan. I'm not sure if he'll start in League 1 for Stockport County. But he's an incredible League 2 player, and he works perfectly in the diamond formation which we were playing at the start of the season. So who knows where he will go in the summer. Let's hope back on loan to Wimbledon. Now, moving on to the last player, which I have wrote down, which I think could play a massive part in Wimbledon season if he signs in the summer, is Rio Adebisi, the Crewe Alexandra left back. This is only if Jack Curry goes, because I expect Lee Brown to maybe sign a 1-year deal. So I think if Jack Curry does go, Rio Adebisi could be a really good player. Even if Crewe go up, I think he could easily come back down. And we're going to have quite a lot of money in the summer as well. So I think we can... Right, I really hope we splash the cash. But he's out of contract this summer. I expect most League 2 and League 1 clubs to be interested in the 23-year-old, to be honest. He's played every single game this season, 4 goals, 7 assists from left back, and really strong defensively too. So it's just a really big another option for Wimbledon, to be honest. If we want to splash the cash, if we really want to be positive, want to really, really get promoted, I think Rio Adebisi could be a really good defensive left back option, because we've got a really good defence already, bear in mind, if we don't sell any of the defenders. And I think if Jack Curry does go, because he's going to have interest from League 1 Championship clubs, and if he does go, I think Rio Adebisi could 100% sign for Wimbledon this season. Another sensible transfer if we want to splash the cash a little bit. But yeah, that's the last player which I think Wimbledon is a sensible transfer for Wimbledon in the summer. But yeah, that is all of the transfers which I think Wimbledon should get in the summer. The last point I want to talk about on where Wimbledon need to be better if we do want to get promoted to League One next season through the playoffs, through the automatics, whatever it takes. Wimbledon really just need to be more consistent, to be honest. There's so many times this season where we fell off, where we have a really good run of form and then we just fall off. The last 10 games, we only won 2, Salford and Walsall on the last day of the season. We had so many opportunities where just if we scored 2 more goals, if we just been more consistent, then we easily could have got in the playoffs above the likes of Crawley, Barrow, Crewe. I think we're better than all 3 of those teams, to be honest. Beat Crawley, beat Barrow, didn't beat Crewe, but should have probably won twice, to be honest, against Crewe. This Wimbledon team had high expectations, but I think should have done a little bit better. I don't think we would have done well if we got promoted this season, but I think just a more consistent Wimbledon team will make us more positive next season, get us in the playoffs, even automatics, whatever it takes, as I said. But the league really does look easier with the likes of Mansfield, Stockport, Wrexham going up, maybe even MK through the playoffs. They're a really good team. And then you have the likes of Fleetwood, Cheltenham, Carlisle, Port Vale coming down, Chesterfield coming up, which is massive. But then you have either Solihull Moors or Bromley coming up through the playoffs of the National League. That will be decided in about a week or two's time. So the league does look a lot easier on paper, and Wimbledon should be getting in the top 7 next season. But if Wimbledon can do everything I've said in this video, then it'll be the perfect squad. Obviously, there's other positions which I didn't mention, which we need to cover. But I think if we do everything that I've said, sign all the players that I've said, keep all the players on contract, sign up Jack Curry and Ronan Curtis, that would be brilliant. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on everything that I said in this video, and let me know your sensible summer transfers which you think Wimbledon could be looking at in the summer, if you think the retain list was good. But yeah, thank you for watching. There's a little bit of a long video, so thank you for sticking by me. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel, please remember to subscribe to the channel and like the video. And yeah, thank you for watching. Come on, you Dons.